Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit TRE.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 5:10 and you are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Sandra Mull, Sue Hall and Lily Taylor. Hello.
Hello. Hi there.
Thank you all for coming in. If you are listening at home and you'd like to get involved, you absolutely can. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day, it's a wonderful life.
Okay, there's an article about a pub at home. It must have been thirsty work, but a father who spent £20,000 creating his own man cave has won the award for Britain's best pub shed. It took him 2 years to make the sports bar at his home. The boozer is called Cognitos. It has a DJ booth complete with decks, a Space Invaders arcade machine, a jukebox, a beer garden, a hot tub and a toilet and shower. I mean, he just doesn't need to go anywhere else, does he?
Well, he hasn't got a dartboard. Or
No. Oh, he's got a dartboard.
Wait for the divorce papers.
or a pool table. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's
Most
true.
pubs have got at least one of those, I think.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he's done a blinding job.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that you've ever thought about? Would you like to have something like that at home?
Oh, well, I've got a couple of mates in the UK that do have sort of like, one's called the Gin Palace. You know, she's got down the end and she's got her optics all up there. She's got the
nice.
fridge, you know, everything, and nice comfy chairs and what have you. And another friend of mine has got a slightly bigger place and he's got some pool table and this, that and the other. So I have seen it, you know,
Yeah.
with people, but because they want to go out but not out.
Yeah, exactly. And you can have people over.
That's
Do you want to come
right.
round to my pub?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great name, I thought, Cognitos.
Yeah.
Quite a few of my friends have turned their basements and cellars into bars.
Oh, love it.
That's large enough for pool tables.
Yeah. And when you're in his bar, you can say, oh, I'm incognito.
That's right.
There you
Yes,
go.
it's a really good name. I like it.
Definitely. And you'll get to say to them, get out of my pub, if they're being too rowdy at the end of the night. I love it. I'd love to do something like that. I'm sort of visualising if and where and when we could possibly do it. But
Your garden's large enough for him to build a shed.
well, quite, yes, exactly. Oh, it would be fun. It would be such fun. We've got a drinks fridge. So we've got an extra fridge which just has... Yeah, exactly. Which just has drinks in it. But no, haven't got the actual bar. Okay, this is talking about Victoria Beckham and her makeup. She does very well with her Victoria Beckham branded makeup. Her eyeliner, which to me just looks like a normal eyeliner, what's it, Kajal? Is that how they pronounce it? Kajal eyeliner. That apparently she sells one every 30 seconds. Is £32.
That's actually just middle of the range price.
Is it? Really?
Even if I wore makeup, I don't think I'd want to spend 32 quid on an eyeliner.
Is that honestly middle of the range?
Yeah, honestly.
So you can spend like 60, 80 quid on an eyeliner?
Yes.
I think they're £1 in Primark, which would be the same.
Absolutely.
That Kajal makes them really smooth and soft and easy to put on.
So what is Kajal?
It's like a mercury thing, I think it is. It makes it very soft, though.
Yeah, but I'm sure I've seen Kajal eyeliners for like €7 or something.
I said middle of the road. I didn't say cheaper, so I'm most expensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gosh.
I'm surprised she hasn't called it Lady Beckham.
Yes, probably, yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm a sucker for marketing. You know, I'm thinking, well, if it's selling that well and she looks good, maybe it's like amazing. But then I kind of think, well, how amazing can eyeliner be? It's eyeliner.
People buy it because it is Victoria Beckham.
Absolutely.
Yeah, mostly.
Absolutely.
But then if she can sell it at that pace and at that price, then I guess...
Which clearly she can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
you? I don't know.
Definitely.
She's also very good at marketing.
Yes.
And I think that's why we purchase, is the marketing.
I think with beauty products, I think I can be convinced to spend a little bit more if I can be convinced that the quality and the outcome is going to be that much greater. But I sort of struggle with an eyeliner because having used much cheaper eyeliners and feeling like they do exactly what I need them to do, I can't kind of justify in my own head spending 25 euros more than I would normally spend.
Why don't you contact her, invite her over, and she can prove it?
Yes, invite her around to my bar that I haven't built yet. Yes, but no, I mean, you don't have to say what specific products, but are there products, beauty-wise, things that you put on your body or your face or whatever that you might spend a bit more on because either of the marketing or because you believe the quality is better or things like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there are some things that I don't like, moisturiser and stuff like that. I do like to. That's about all I do. I think the day and the night moisturiser, because I think there is a difference between the two of them, the different jobs.
But if they don't work, if they're expensive, I didn't buy them just because they're expensive. If they're expensive and they work,
they do the job.
Them.
Yeah.
But if they're not, then I'll revert to something else.
Do you do a bit of research then before buying something if it's got good reviews? So you'll spend more money if it's got good reviews, and
usually word of mouth helps as well. You know, if somebody tells you what it's like, but you have to check your skin type and everything. It's not just one product fits all.
Yeah, but I do think there are like budget products that are still good and good quality. Like I can definitely not afford to spend £32 on an eyeliner specifically, but then there's other products that also are probably within the higher budget, and I think you can get pretty good stuff for less money. You have to do your research.
I have to say that Aldi do some really kind of, good imitation.
The
good imitations of some of the better known.
And Mercadona,
products.
people really rate Mercadona's skincare and makeup. Definitely.
Mercadona lip liner is very good.
Okay.
Thank
you. There we go. There we go. It is word of mouth makes a huge difference, and I've been getting into Korean skincare lately because that's apparently really, really good. And again, you can get cheaper items with that, but they put really good ingredients in it, and they've supposedly done their research, and you can get similar ingredients that they'll put in more expensive face creams and things, but somehow they're a lot cheaper. So, I've got some South Korean toner at home, for example, which was like €9 something. So, I'm happy with that.
I love a bit of skincare.
Yeah?
One of my projects at university was to create a magazine, and I did it on skincare.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to check out some good budget buys.
You're the person to know, Lily. Yes.
Oh, in fact, so was that what you were looking at, budget buys particularly?
Yeah, no, we did a bit of everything. We were exploring like skin conditions, but also things on a budget for like students and stuff, but also like proper research into what ingredients you should be using and stuff like that, and how to tackle each skin problem. So I know quite a lot in depth.
So is it like a student witch magazine?
Yeah, it's called Radiance.
Brilliant.
It's quite cute. It looked good towards the end. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, music. Oh, this is Passengers who blast music from their phones can be a blight on bus journeys. That's a polite way of saying what I would call them. But they could soon face on-the-spot fines thanks to proposals to crack down on such antisocial behaviour. Commuters on train journeys could also benefit from tougher enforcement of existing rules. I find this so rude.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really do. Whether it's listening to music or playing video games where you hear the diddle-doo-doo, all that kind of stuff. And kids do it all the time next to their parents. Always on an aeroplane, there'll be a kid near me next to their parent, and the kid will be playing a game, which I totally get. But have headphones on or turn the volume off.
And scowls don't work anymore.
No, I know. I've tried that. I've definitely tried that. And I'm nervous to say to the parent, would you mind? Because you just know that they could easily go, how dare you, he's got just as much,
But other passengers do the same. They'll turn on you as well. I've done that once.
Really?
And you think, oh, can I just crawl under the chair? Because
I don't know how they're going to police that, though. I mean, they say that they're cutting down,
true.
but, what are you going to do? You're going to film it happening and send it to someone?
The police. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not as though they've got enough staff or anything to be able to do that. So
any social behaviour reforms have to be policed.
Yeah.
And we can't even have enough policemen for the streets, never mind for the
No,
tubes.
absolutely. I suppose they could have posters and things up in the buses and the trains and things like that. So if someone was doing it, I suppose it would give another member of the public a little bit more confidence to say, excuse me, and point at the sign and say you're not allowed to do that. I don't know.
But have you been on the quiet carriage on the train and people come on and they're doing that? You point to the quiet sign.
That doesn't work.
They don't care, do they?
It's like they're daring you to challenge them.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about it?
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it?
It really is. But that's the way the country's going. I'm sorry. It is.
I'd never really noticed it until I was on like a 4-hour National Express drive, and I was like, this little kid next to me, I was like, please stop with your video games. TikTok's annoning as well. And I'm
people scrolling because you just get like a tiny bit of...
I'm addicted to TikTok, so I can't really say, but the snippets of music, at least if you could listen to a whole song, but it's every 2
definitely,
seconds.
I agree. It's all the little snippets when someone's scrolling. Yeah, very, very irritating. Okay, it appears that most of us are hooked on murder, fictional, of course, to find a bit of peace. 1 in 3 Britons told a survey that they found reading or watching cosy crime more relaxing than meditation. 60% say they turn to a whodunit to escape their own lives.
I'm not that keen on the reading, but I do like a murder mystery dinner.
Yeah?
They're fun.
Okay.
I like a play or a film as well. The reading is one thing, but I like to lose myself in it and think who's done it along the way, and do I change my mind, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Agatha Christie was definitely onto something there. She knew that it was what people enjoyed.
We just come back from Edinburgh, and it was wonderful to go into a bookstore, an absolutely proper bookstore. It was marvellous, and there were rows and rows and rows of Agatha Christie books.
Really?
I hadn't realised she'd written so many.
Oh, amazing.
People have been murdered in every possible place on this planet.
Yes. I do find it fascinating with book genres. You'd think everything's been done before, whether it's crime, romance, sci-fi. You'd think, everyone's covered every type of story. But no, there's constantly more stories and more ways of looking at things and different perspectives. And we love watching TV series that are around crime and murder and things like that.
Do you know Death in Paradise?
Yes, and I never got into that.
Really? Oh, yeah. My dad loved that.
I used to love that, yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, I thought it was a bit cheesy. I think we just watched one episode and thought it was a bit...
The ways of killing people off got a little bit more extravagant. That's for sure, you're running out of ideas.
Yeah. But just recently, I've started reading, because I've never really massively been into crime books. For some reason, but yet I love watching it on television. So I thought, why would I not enjoy reading that? So I've just started to, I say just started to, I'm on like the 6th book by the same author, and absolutely loving it. Really, really loving it, because I think if you like it on one medium, there's no reason why you wouldn't like it on another medium, whether it's plays or TV or film or books or... So yeah, I'm really... The gripping aspect and the, desperate to turn the page to see what happens. It's brilliant.
Must be a fabulous author.
Frida McFadden.
I've heard of her.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, Housemaid book. So she wrote 3 books in the Housemaid series, and then there's all kinds of books about different things. I'm reading The Inmate at the moment, and there was The Teacher, and loads. But really good, really kind of easy to read, and not loads of characters, and really, really gripping. Loving it. Okay, we better take a break.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Sandra Mole, Sue Hall and Lily Taylor. Comedian and actor David Mitchell has defended mansplaining, insisting it's just what men call a conversation. The term is often denounced as the patronising way a man explains things to women, which assumes she knows less. But David Mitchell said male friendships often revolve around a little mutual explaining as they politely lecture each other instead of discussing feelings. Have you ever been mansplained?
I have been mansplained, and they certainly came off worse.
I can imagine.
Trying to tell me how to do something with a car or electrical, and I'm sorry, but that's really is condescending.
Yes.
It's a bit like, putting their arm around your shoulder. Oh, I'm just being nice, darling. Guiding you along.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's anything other than condescending.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's one thing to say, do you need a hand? It's another to automatically start explaining it to you, assuming that you have no idea what you're doing. That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, if you're a heterosexual couple and you both go into a garage and take the car in, the mechanics always direct it to the male, as though the male automatically knows more than the woman, and sometimes it's not, it's the other way round.
Or a car showroom, if you're going to buy a car, they'll talk to the man always.
They hate it when you do know something more than them, though. Absolutely hate it. So it's not explaining at all, as you can tell, if they hate it.
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't a kind of, I'm just trying to think, is there a similar thing for women?
No, women just think they know better anyway.
Which most of the time they do.
Oh dear. This is an interesting one. I asked the guys about this, but I wanted to save it for the women because I thought you might have another point of view. So the headline reads, "Why I'm not going on holiday with my husband this summer or ever again. And all my friends feel the same about their Victor Meldrew spouses." So it's talking about being with someone who is, well, really grumpy and kind of moans a lot, and the idea of being on holiday with them isn't fun because all they're doing is moaning about the weather or the food or the housekeeping or whatever that may or may not go wrong with your holiday. And it just got me thinking that, so it says at the bottom of the article, 7 tips to save your marriage to a misery guts. And it goes through lots of things that you could do, encourage them to be a bit more positive, set boundaries around negativity, prioritise your own happiness. But then eventually it says, decide what you can and can't live with. Because you'd think that for most people, you get to a point where you'd be like, I don't want to be going on holiday with a misery guts, or I don't want to be living with a misery guts. And well, yeah, we don't have to, do we?
No, separate holidays. There's no problem with, travelling on your own anywhere, is there? Or, he goes with his friends, you go with yours,
If he's that miserable, he'll have none.
It's like any relationship. There are things that you do together and things that you do independent of each other, and different interests. And that's what keeps relationships alive, that you've got things to talk about as well, that the other person wasn't. Well, how was your night playing poker, or how was, the theatre visit or everything? Because, these are the kind of things that we should be doing, hobbies that we enjoy, and not, you'll be forced into something just because your partner does it.
No,
and
absolutely.
Holidays are exactly the same, I think.
Yeah,
and you save up, you look forward to it. Holiday's not cheap. You've got 2 weeks away and you want to make the most of it. Not try to placate a grumpy old... And it doesn't have to be a man.
No,
in gay relationships you can go away and it can be equally grumpy one or the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm probably going to sound really naive, but then at the same time, surely it's quite sad if you can't go on a holiday with your partner, because wouldn't you want to switch up your everyday life?
Yeah.
If he's grumpy on a holiday, he must be so grumpy in the house.
Quite.
Right?
Yes. And I enjoy going on holiday with female friends, but I really enjoy going on holiday with my husband, and I can't imagine not. I can't imagine being happy to stay with him in a relationship, but totally not happy to go on holiday with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I think if I got to the point where I was like, well, we can't go on holiday together anymore, let's go on holiday separately, I'd kind of feel
I'll
the
go
relationship,
because he's not grumpy at all.
No, exactly.
So I go.
Exactly.
No, but I've seen people, though, they're not necessarily grumpy at home because they're in their own environment. They like that.
Okay.
Some people don't like flying, they don't like travelling, but they shouldn't prevent their partner from doing that.
Yeah.
By being grumpy. So I think then it's best to differ and go separate ways. Not separate ways marriage-wise, but separate holidays and enjoy it.
But, are you talking about... I think the clue in this article is about that person's quite a bit older.
Yeah.
You're not talking about Lily's age group or anything, because I would be very sad if somebody in their 20s was in class as a grumpy old so-and-so, then the alarm bells would ring.
But they were talking about just 5 years, the 5-year anniversary, the first one in the article, so it wasn't that old.
Yeah.
Mind you,
guess-
she was old though.
But I think if they're grumpy all the time, then there's an issue with the relationship that hasn't been resolved, and one person's compromising too much. And the other one thinks that that's okay. But if they get worse when they're away on holiday, it's no holiday.
No.
At all.
I think if you're with someone who's really grumpy and really negative, I think it's, and I've seen it happen with various couples, it's really common, I think, for the person who isn't that grumpy to become grumpier.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be exhausting to constantly be, well, arguing or saying, oh, cheer up, or it's not that bad, and oh, come on, the sun's shining, or oh, let's just have a drink, or, you know, trying to be that positive energy all the time. Exactly, really exhausting. So it would be easier to just go, oh, I know what you mean, shame about the weather, we can't do what we planned then, and get into that negative mindset, because it would be hard work constantly trying to do the other things. So I think either...
But they do say opposites attract, don't they?
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah. You know, you can always find an argument against the argument.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I couldn't hack it personally.
No.
I guess it depends on what the couple prioritises as well. If, like, you as a couple prioritise travelling together and making memories abroad, well then surely that's something really important. But then other people might not even care.
Yeah, no, that's exactly... Absolutely, and it would be a priority for me. So I'd struggle with that.
You might be playing cricket. She doesn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a shocking story. A spiteful nurse who secretly put hair removal cream into a bottle of conditioner in revenge for using her toiletries has admitted administering poison. 34-year-old Kate Atherton emptied half a bottle of conditioner before refilling it with Veet hair removal cream. Her former partner was devastated when her hair began falling out and feared that she would be forced to shave it all off. Atherton had bragged about her scheme in voice notes and text messages to friends, and this all went to court, as you can imagine. Have you ever played a prank like this?
I wish I'd thought of that one. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to have a sign saying, touch this, and then there's a Veet bottle next to it. Oh my goodness.
I can't imagine ever doing anything like this. I must
And she
be
was a
honest.
nurse as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
really.
got me about that article.
They're supposed to be nice.
Well, yes, but at least she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't poisonous in that way. She wasn't going to drink the conditioner, was she?
No, exactly.
The schoolgirl error was telling all her mates about it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I just think someone would need to do a hell of a lot worse for me to resort to something like that.
It is outrageous.
I mean, it's awful. It's
Well,
really...
she's been doing it for 4 years. Yeah, it must have been quite long, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a lot.
Yeah, but the rest of the article, when she said her life had been devastated and she couldn't trust anyone. I mean,
challenged everything. Yeah, didn't trust anyone. Yeah,
she should have made it given it to swallow.
I love how sympathetic and understanding you're both.
I feel a little bad.
I do. I'm like,
can you imagine? If all
it's
my
just
hair fell
horrendous. I mean, it would. Yeah, yeah. She'd get a lot worse coming back to her. Put it that way. Okay. Children as young as 10 are among hundreds being given weight loss jabs on the NHS. It's a big article, but that's kind of all I need to say, really, to ask what your thoughts are on children being given weight loss jabs.
I don't agree with it.
I think it's wrong. That young, yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely wrong.
Really, you should be retraining their eating habits. Why are they obese in the first place?
Exactly.
And that doesn't help. It just... In their mind, it must be telling them it's okay to eat anything because if I just take an injection, it'll get rid of it. And it can't be good at that age when they're not fully developed.
No.
They're still growing, they're still changing, evolving. And I mean, that sort of chubby phase that you go through, as you're approaching puberty and beyond and everything, they've got to be the other side of that, really, to kind of see what they're going to look like as an adult. And perhaps they won't be overweight then, you know?
Absolutely.
I think the other thing that they can do is now they're having sports on prescription, a sports membership, a club membership, and that makes much more sense. So you change your whole lifestyle instead.
Definitely. I mean, I don't want to be offensive here, but can there be medical reasons why children would put on weight? Is it always, because in my mind it will be, I feel like it's the parents who aren't feeding their children right, or aren't kind of giving them the right kind of advice, or buying too many sweets or chocolates or crisps or whatever in the house.
Parents are probably just as obese.
Yeah, I mean, you normally see that, don't you? A whole family, and it's clearly that's why the kids look like that. Because
you see them eating donuts and crisps and pop and everything, and then they say, I don't know how I've got this size.
Yeah.
Processed and junk food are at the root of most of the childhood obesity problems, I think, because parents are time poor most of the time because they're working as well as keeping house and looking after the kids and school runs and school clubs and everything else. They are time poor, so they want convenience foods. Quick, just,
chuck it in the oven.
Meal for two, ping, and that's it. They're fed. So they go for those options, and those options are not nutritionally the best for those children.
Yeah.
And yes, grab a snack bar, grab a this, that and the other, the kids are eating wrong.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, sorry. No, I was just going to say it's really sad. I don't know who said earlier, but it's really bad mentally, because then that kid's going to grow up to think that that's normal, and then they're going to tell their kids that that's all you need, just a jab to lose weight. And obviously I can't speak for medical conditions because I have no idea. But what's even in these jabs? Like what's causing the weight loss after? I don't know.
Well, they're appetite suppressants, aren't they?
Oh, okay.
They make you not want food.
That's really bad for a child as well, because they should be eating. It's just exercise.
They need nutritious food.
Exactly, it's eating the right types of food.
Yeah, so they'll still be eating the same rubbish, just less of it, but it's still rubbish.
Yeah.
So they're not getting the proper nutrients that they need for their body.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
And that's especially important when they're as young as 10, because like we said, they are still growing.
10 is so young,
isn't it?
Gosh.
And that's the thing, when you are eating less because you have an appetite suppressant, however you're doing it, it's the food that you're eating when you are eating that is key. And as you say, if they're just eating less processed, crappy food, then...
But they're still eating the processed and convenience food.
That doesn't help their mental or emotional development at all. And, sorry to say this, what it costs to the nation, to the NHS, because this medication's not cheap.
No.
But there's also the
price, isn't it?
The peer pressure at school as well, with all the kids. Oh, we're going for a burger after school, we're going for this, that and the other, and are you coming along? And it's all the junk food then, that they get sucked into doing. So, I mean, these kids are just, I don't know, I despair. I really do, because 10 is no age for these kids to be going through something like that.
And you'd expect kids, when they're out with their mates, to eat bad food, go for fast food, go and get sweets, that's what kids do. So that's why it's so important to be having good food at home, to kind of balance.
But chubbiness and obesity seems to be the norm, and it's been accepted.
Yeah.
When I go to England, I'm aghast most of the time at just how large people are.
Yeah. I mean, I've got friends staying with me at the moment, and they've got 2 daughters, 9 and 7, and it's been so lovely this week to watch how they're being parented, by my friend and his wife, and they're not snacking on biscuits and things. They have fruit, they have pomegranate and blackberries in a little sort of, it's all done, and I watch Dad getting all the pomegranate part and everything. They always have brown bread. They're having, the occasional little treat, a bit of Nutella, on a bit of toast or something.
But they know it's a treat, don't they?
That's right. And that's the thing. But they snack on carrot batons and all this. And it's just been lovely. Obviously, they put in their children's health first.
Yeah.
And that to them, it's the norm. They are only allowed 1 fizzy drink a day, like a Coke Zero. The rest of the time, it has to be a fruit juice or water.
That's what... But they've been trained in that way. That's what they've been given.
Yeah, exactly. And you get used to it, whatever it is.
That's right. Absolutely. And they're 9 and 7. Yeah. And they don't ask for stuff they know they're not going to get given.
Yeah. It's also lifestyle, though. Like, I ate tons and tons when I was 10. God knows whether it was good or bad or whatever. But I did loads of sport as well. And I think I'm still at the generation where I had a phone really young. I think I was 12 or 13. But now kids are getting given phones when they're like 7 or 8. So at 10, they're probably not even going outside. So if they're eating all that rubbish, and on top of that, not even going out with their friends, they're just looking on TikTok and Instagram, which we're all guilty of it. I'm like number one. But at that age, like, it's essential to be outside.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, they're too large to want to exercise because they feel embarrassed.
Yeah. If they're bigger than all their friends and they get out of breath
so
quicker.
They don't do it.
Yeah.
And don't forget bullying. Cycle. Bullying is sort of, they will always target the chubby chops in the class and stuff like that. And if, that stops them wanting to go out as well. They become social recluses,
Which sadly can often make them eat more.
That's right.
Emotional eating and things instead of... It can go one way. It can go to horrendous eating disorders.
Mental health is definitely in danger. Either way.
I heard somewhere that doctors were giving shopping vouchers, but for specific purchases. So it had to be fruit and vegetables.
Okay.
Now, whether the people sold those for something else, I don't know. But that would be a good one. But
that's a much better idea, isn't it? Absolutely. We better take another break.
Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today is Sandra Mole, Sue Hall and Lily Taylor. Nearly 1 in 3 parents are seriously considering homeschooling their children, and bullying is the number one reason. What do you think about homeschooling?
It depends whether they're capable of doing it.
I was going to say, it must depend on both the child and the parents.
And also, that is no way to treat bullying. Because they have to be socialised. And when they go back, they'll be just as equally bullied, or when they go out into the other world.
Exactly. We get it as adults, so you need to get used to it as a child.
You need to be able to teach them to deal with it. Speak to the school. They should be able to have some program in operation there.
Yeah.
But it has to be tackled, not
avoided
at all.
I think it's essential for kids to go to school.
Do you?
Yeah, just because as soon as you go into your adult life, you're going to be surrounded by loads of different types of people anyway. So you're just going to have to learn to deal with that from as a young child. I think we should also be teaching kids that they shouldn't be bullying. I know we try, but... that's not always easy, but removing a child out of the situation, I can see why you would want that, because you wouldn't want your kid under that pressure at school, and it's horrible to think, but I do think that it's the wrong way to go about it.
I do as well. I do. I mean, homeschooling in certain circumstances, we had it during COVID, didn't we?
Yeah.
There was a lot of online tutoring and, homeschooling then, but they did miss out on that whole year of, not socialising, not mixing with other kids their own age or older or younger or any other children. So I think it can, in the longer term, be very damaging to them in the future, unless there's a good reason why they need to be homeschooled. There's a health issue or something. But bullying is unacceptable, and the teachers and the parents of the bullying person need to manage that together so that it nips it in the bud. But most parents of bullies don't acknowledge there's a problem.
No.
Because they're completely different at home.
Yeah.
It's not the only form of bullying either. They may not be at school, but they've got the telephone bullying now.
The cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying.
Definitely.
And it doesn't stop children coming to the front door, always being around. You can't keep a child in the house when... schooling is one thing, but keeping the child in, how else will you tackle bullying if that's supposed to be the cause?
It's really difficult. It must be so tough for parents. And as you say, Lily, I get why parents would want to protect 100%. Their kids and take them out of that situation. But I think if a child goes through years of their life without being at school, and then suddenly they're an adult and they need to go to work and find a job and need to interact with people, they will have missed out on so many life lessons that you learn as a child, having to deal with horrible people or liars or backstabbers or whatever. We see it all as adults. So I think you sadly need to experience it as a not that you need to be bullied, God forbid, but experience being around different types of people and learning to deal with it and cope with it, I think, is key.
And it's not just about the education side of it, like the classes. There's the social aspects, like they have events at schools, they have trips out, they have sort of working groups. It's teamwork. People need to work together, and if you're not going to experience any of that.
Well, how will the child find out its strengths as well?
Exactly.
Yeah. When making your first CV as an adult, how would you know what to put?
How do you know how to talk to people? Just in general. Like, I was 16 during COVID, so I was old enough to know that I'd been at school for years. But it was weird going back, and I wasn't embarrassed or anxious or anything. But I can imagine for a 12-year-old who hadn't actually been to high school before, it would have been mega strange for them.
It did have quite a dire effect on socialisation.
Definitely. Definitely.
Certainly with the younger ones, the the 5, 6, 7s who were at home, that was hard for them.
I had a friend whose daughter became obsessed with washing her hands and really nervous to go outside the house without a mask. When we were allowed to go outside without a mask, she was still wearing her mask. And really, really sad. Really, it was tough times, wasn't it? And I think it was particularly hard on young people for those reasons. Okay, girls and boys should be taught about periods in mixed sex groups to improve their understanding of menstruation. Pupils are being given insufficient information on the subject, suggests a study by University College London. I don't remember learning about periods at school.
We did.
I
didn't, but I taught it.
Okay.
So we taught in separate groups and then brought them together to discuss it.
Oh, interesting. Was that your doing as opposed to... Yeah, I bet it was. Well done, you.
You have to have them separate because otherwise they won't ask questions.
Yeah, they'd be embarrassed. And the boys would be giggling.
Then bring them together. Ask them to get their specific questions ready and then bring them back to the main forum.
That's such a clever way, actually, because really I agree. I do think boys should be taught it as well, but I can see how that would be a more dynamic way of dealing with it, and then afterwards together.
But also you have to talk about wet dreams and everything else, because the girls need to know some of the issues that the boys have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. All the different issues to do with puberty for both sexes.
Absolutely, I completely agree. We didn't have sex education when I went to school. When I got my first period, it was a terrifying experience. And my mother at the time just didn't explain anything. She just gave me a book called The Hygiene of Marriage. I'll never forget it.
Oh, God! When you were a girl?
There was a section in, I was 13 years of age, and there was a section in there on periods. And she just said, read that. Wow. And it was just like... You know, that was my entire knowledge of it. You think you're dying, you know. You're just like, oh my God, where's this all coming from? And you don't know why.
I remember, well, I don't know if I do remember. I just remember my mum telling me about it when I was much younger than that, like 7, 8, 9, something, coming home from school and say, we played reproduction bingo today. And my mum was like, oh, what's that? And I said, well, we had all, like bingo, but all different, like vulva and stuff like that. But it was all like all the medical, vagina. And like with all the and we didn't know what they meant, or there was no kind of giggling. It was quite early on that we didn't associate any of it with anything sexual. They were just different parts of the body, and you know, we hadn't seen the boys' bits and the boys hadn't seen our bits, and they were just words attached to medical pictures, and it was fun. We were shouting out all the
that sounds like fun, actually.
It was. Yeah. And it was a great introduction to the different words and seeing what everybody's bits look like.
It gets you comfortable using the words.
Yes,
that's
I thought it was a good thing. But we certainly didn't learn about periods and stuff. My mum explained all that to me, but we didn't at school.
No, I can't really remember.
We had the school nurse tell us.
Oh, really? I don't remember having a school nurse.
We had, in biology, I do remember, when I was in my grammar school, we watched a film called To Janet, a Son.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually showed the whole giving birth process and everything, and apparently I fainted.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, unbelievable, like this. And I just kept... Obviously, it was like a miracle, but it was too much for my brain to actually cope with, you know, because I just was getting to grips with my periods and the child. Yeah. So suddenly, is this the next thing, you know?
Well, I remember my mum being really cross with how often they showed childbirth in, whether it was films or TV programmes, being such a horrendous experience, you know, with the woman, oh, I'm going to kill you, to her partner, and it being awful, and my mum never wanted it to kind of put me off, and sort of said, oh, it's not that bad, and you know, hated how it was portrayed in such a horrendous, because you could grow up watching that and it could just make you think, well, I'm never doing that. Absolutely.
Is it a coincidence I have no children of my own?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, brilliant.
I went on an excursion when we were kids. We must have been like 12 or something. We went to Granada to the Science Museum, and similar story. There was like a reproduction body bit, and I was like, I'm not going in there to look at childbirth. And there was this couple of boys who went in and were like all strong, like, oh, we're gonna watch it. And then one of them fainted and was like, oh no, like bang around the corner looking. And he was like, no, it's just because it's hot in here. We were like, yeah,
right.
That was why they didn't let fathers in originally, because they fainted.
Yeah, definitely. It must be quite a shock for some men, I imagine. We better take the last ad break.
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the very last part of today's Women Talk with Sandra Mole, Sue Hall and Lily Taylor. 1 in 5 secondary school pupils have felt pressured into sharing an explicit image of themselves. The shocking study by Vodafone shows that nearly 2/3 of 11 to 17-year-olds later discovered that their images or videos had been forwarded without their consent.
It's sad.
It's really sad, isn't it?
Disgusting.
And it's really really easy, I guess, for a parent to say to their child, don't ever let your photo or video be taken doing something that you wouldn't want anyone to see.
And don't feel pressured into sending it to anyone.
No.
You know, anyone, even if it's someone you trust or, you know.
Absolutely.
You've got no control over it after you send it on anywhere.
Yeah.
But we're talking now as adults, but the peer pressure to do that. And it's often in groups. It's not just an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the girls will egg each other on, the boys will egg each other on. And I've heard the kids saying they feel stupid not to.
Yeah, if everyone else is doing it. Yeah.
And then there's that, I promise I won't send it anyway. Yeah. I promise.
Well, again, if you're sending it to your boyfriend who you trust and you might think you love at the age of whatever, you know, the reality is that the likelihood of you staying together for the rest of your lives is from the age of 14 or so is pretty slim.
But there are dire consequences. I mean, there have been child suicides because of this.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it's somehow educating the children and the perpetrators of what the consequences can be.
Yeah. Definitely.
I thought it was interesting at the end of that article about what Vodafone are doing, actually, with AI to try and prevent that. There are all sorts of things that AI can do on the phone to stop them being shared or to flag up. Yeah, it's in the article.
Wow.
And I think this is a really positive step forward for AI. If it can help with things like this, then the other phone companies will follow suit.
Well, I mean, they do know if there's something indiscreet on, and they can control that. They can monitor certain words and everything. It's just sometimes they choose
but
not
that just
to.
stops it being shared on a phone, but it's a start. I mean,
Yes.
you know, computers, emails, Facebook, all those other things, they're going to have their own, you know, ways to monitor and stuff. But I think it's a really encouraging start to maybe kind of controlling it on the phones.
Yeah.
It's very hard to control. Up until recently, I won't say a date because I'm not sure, but photos and images and videos that were shared on like sites that you shouldn't go on, once you put them up, you were no longer the owner of those images, and the site owned them, and you can't really get rid of them. And I don't know if the laws changed, but there was a few people have been trying to change that, because it's disgusting. Like, you're no longer owner of your own picture, and they're on these sites and they own it and they can't get it down. Like, so badly organised. So hopefully that gets better.
Once that's happened, it's no longer your property.
Exactly.
And they class it as in the public domain.
Yeah.
It's happened to celebrities as well. I think it was that was probably the story.
That's what we're talking about, the same thing, definitely. She's tried, I don't know who it was, but she's definitely tried to change the law surrounding that, because it's outrageous.
But, you know, your phone, they can tell you, they know everything about what you put on your phone. So surely they must have a mechanism to prevent something like that.
Definitely. And I mean, also with what goes up on social media, because again, that can, all sorts, you know, they'll stop someone putting a photo up of their kid in a bath, you know, completely innocently, but then you'll see a photo of someone in a compromising position. It's like, well, how was that allowed to get up there when someone with their 4-year-old at bathing time was banned? You know, it's like, if they can stop it, they need to be stopping it more. Absolutely. We have just over a minute left to talk about the Bank of Mum and Dad, which apparently shuts at the age of 27. How do you feel about the Bank of Mum and Dad? Should it be such a thing? Should it go on forever? Should it never exist?
I think there's an expectation that it should go on forever from the current generations, really. I don't know. I think going over to the youngest member of the panel.
How do you feel about the Bank of Mum and Dad? Under a minute, go.
I don't know. I'm 20. I think 27 is quite old, isn't it? I mean, I'll tell you when I'm 27, but I hope I'm not in the position where I'm still asking my mum and dad for money. That's horrible. I mean, I've just finished uni and I got a job for the summer and stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't been helped. Of course I have, but I don't want to be 5 years down the line still having to rely on them. It's just, one, it's not fair on them, and also I'm nearly 30. I should have some sort of independence.
Yeah, definitely. Good for you. I think that.
Right answer, Lily. Right answer. Yeah.
I think that's fine what you say, but the article was also going on about helping with mortgages. It was a little bit more complex than just not handing out pocket money.
We're at the end of the show. Thank you, ladies, very, very much.
You.
Well done. Thank you, Sandra, Sue and Lily. And Anna is looking after the show next week. I'll be back the week after.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.